Have you ever walked into a room where everyone was arguing and within minutes they were all nodding in agreement? I used to think that was impossible. I thought influence meant being the loudest voice, the most convincing speaker, or having the best arguments. I was completely wrong. What I discovered changed everything about how I interact with people. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why 99% of people are fighting battles they've already lost before they even open their mouths. 3 years ago, I was in the worst negotiation of my life. I was sitting across from my boss, desperately trying to get a project approved. I had charts, data, passion, and the more I pushed, the more he pulled away. His arms crossed, his face hardened, and his no was absolute. That night, I had a revelation. The problem wasn't my arguments. The problem was my approach. I was using force when I should have been using flow. I was practicing verbal karate when I should have been practicing verbal judo. Karate is about meeting force with force. Judo is about using your opponent's energy to achieve your goal. It's the difference between pushing a boulder uphill and redirecting a river. So I'm going to share the 5 core techniques of social judo. And these aren't manipulation tactics. This is a framework for creating genuine alignment where everyone wins. Technique number 1, the Inception technique. This is how you plant ideas that other people will champion as their own. I was in a team meeting where we needed a radical project change. I knew if I suggested it directly, I'd be met with a wall of resistance. So I never stated what I wanted. Instead, I started asking questions, genuine questions. What's the single biggest obstacle holding us back right now? If we could wave a magic wand and solve one problem, what would it be? Each question was a signpost guiding their thinking. Slowly, a new plan began to form. Their plan. This works because of a fundamental law of human nature. We are biologically wired to resist being told what to do. It's an evolutionary defense of our autonomy. But an idea we generate ourselves, we become its champion. We will defend it, improve it, and see it through. But here's the trap most people fall into. They ask leading questions. Don't you think we should try my approach? That's not inception. That's just clumsy manipulation. True inception comes from genuine curiosity that leads others to the conclusion you already see. Now, the second technique is where we build an unbreakable connection, and it works even on the most defensive people. It's called the mirror and anchor. Most people, when faced with disagreement, immediately counterattack with their own point of view. This is a fatal mistake. Instead, you do the opposite. You reflect back their position, but not just their words, their feelings, and their values. So, if I'm hearing you correctly, your main concern is that this new approach might risk the quality standards you've worked so hard to build. Is that right? The science is clear. When someone feels truly understood, their brain chemistry literally shifts from defense to trust. They feel safe. Once you've built that connection with the mirror, you use the anchor. You anchor the conversation on a shared goal. We both want this project to be a massive success and maintain the high standards we're proud of, right? So let's start there. How can we achieve our goal while protecting our standards? You've just reframed the entire dynamic. It's no longer you versus them. It's both of you versus the problem. You've learned to plant ideas and build connection. But what if the person is actively attacking your idea? You're about to learn a move that feels like surrender, but is actually the most powerful offensive play you can make. Technique number 3, the power of strategic concession. I was in a heated debate with a colleague who was dismantling my proposal. Every instinct screamed at me to fight back, to prove him wrong, to list all the reasons he was mistaken. But instead, I took a breath and did the one thing he never expected. I agreed with him. You know what? You are absolutely right about the timeline. It is aggressive. Thank you for pointing that out. Rushing this could cause serious problems." The shift was instantaneous. His shoulders dropped, his tone softened. He went from attacking to asking questions. This is because you've disarmed their psychological reactance. When people feel you're trying to invalidate them, they push back, even if they secretly agree. By validating their most important point, you remove their need to fight. The key is, the concession must be genuine. Don't just throw them a bone. Find a real point of truth in their argument and honor it. You aren't weakening your position. You are strengthening the relationship so a real conversation can begin. The fourth technique is the most uncomfortable, and for that reason, the most underused. It's called the vacuum of silence. I was negotiating a contract, and we'd reached the final point on price. I stated our position, calmly and clearly. And then, I went completely silent. The silence was deafening. 1 second, 5 seconds, 30. Every fiber of my being screamed, "Fill the void, reassure them, don't lose the deal." My heart was pounding, but I held the frame. Humans are hardwired to feel anxiety in a conversational vacuum, and whoever fills that void first often reveals their true position or makes a concession they didn't intend to. In that meeting, the other party didn't argue. They started discussing logistics. In the silence, they had moved from resistance to acceptance. This isn't an awkward pause. It's a strategic void. After you make your point or ask a critical question, stop talking. Let them be the first to speak. The silence does the heavy lifting for you. The final technique is the master-level skill that ties everything together. It's called frame control. Our team was facing a massive project failure. The mood in the room was toxic, a blame storm waiting to happen. Before anyone could speak, our leader stepped in and said, "We all know what went wrong. The question today isn't who is to blame. The question is, what did this failure teach us that will guarantee our next success?" With one sentence, she changed everything. She didn't control what people said. She controlled the frame of the conversation. Most people are passive participants in conversations, reacting to whatever frame is set. But with frame control, you become the architect. Instead of asking, "Why did this go wrong?" you ask, "What will make us succeed next time?" Instead of saying, "This is impossible," you ask, "What would need to be true for this to become possible?" You shift the frame from blame to learning, from scarcity to abundance, from problems to opportunities. And in doing so, you change not just the conversation, but how people think. These 5 techniques, Inception, Mirror and Anchor, Strategic Concession, the Vacuum of Silence, and Frame Control, are not a list of tricks. They are an integrated system. They work because they're rooted in respect, not manipulation. You're creating the conditions for people's best thinking to emerge. The world doesn't need more people who know how to argue. It needs architects of understanding. The next time you walk into a difficult conversation, remember you have a choice. You can use force or you can use flow. You can be the boulder or you can be the river. Master these principles, and you won't just get what you want. You will become the person who creates the outcomes everyone wants.